Hello, hello, everyone. So glad to have you here. I'm just going to check audio really quick, make sure we're all good to go on that end. Um, for those of you that just got here, I put the playlist at the top of the chat. So if you want the link to the playlist, just kind of up and it should be there. Let's just check this out. All right. Sounds like we are good. Too many technology glitches along the way. Feel free just to put it in the chat feature, and I will keep an eye on that as we go. Hi, Robin. So good to have you. Sorry about my fat fingers, Sarah. I don't know what happened there. Great to have you guys here. Happy Wednesday. I wasn't sure we'd have anyone come inside to practice with us tonight, so I'm so glad to have you guys here. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Hopefully, some of you are actually practicing outside. I'm going to throw out there just before you get too settled in. If you have some sort of strap like object in your house, it could be an official yoga strap, but it also could just be like a hand towel or a belt or a tie or like a bathrobe strap. You might just want to run and grab it really quick. We're going to do something near the end of class where the strap's not going to be required, but it might make it nice, might make it nicer. So I'm going to give that as an option for you. And then we are going to get started seated tonight. So just coming to a comfortable seat when you're ready. I'm going to recommend crisscross applesauce, kind of a cross-legged seat. But if it's more comfortable for you to have straight legs or to be seated on the heels, feel free to do that instead. And then I really lately have been liking kind of hands out to the sides, touching the ground. But you could also just put hands on your lap. And then let's go ahead and blink the eyes closed. And let's collectively all take a big inhale, fill up. And then open your mouth and let it go. One more time. Big inhale, fill up. And let it go. And I want you just to let the breath from here be really easy and soft. Let it naturally flow in and out. And instead of tonight kind of controlling the breath or creating something with the breath, can we start to create space in the body instead? Space that makes room for the breath to naturally become a little deeper and a little fuller. So, can you position your body in a way that you feel really open and spacious for breath? Can you begin to release tension in your body, holding in your body that limits your ability to breathe really fully and deeply? Coming into this deeper, fuller breath, not through force or pressure, not through even necessarily kind of creating something, but through creating space. Letting go of all of the things in your day that get in the way of you breathing. Maybe it's body tension, maybe it's mental distractions. And for now, allow this to be all that there is. This is really steady breath, moving in and out of the space that you're creating for it. Let's keep that breath going that you've established, we're just going to crawl your right hand a little further out toward the right. And then we're going to take your left hand and bring it to the back of your head. So instead of kind of going up and over like we often do, we're just going to bring that left hand to the back of the head. Your right hand can either be domed on fingertips or it could be a flat palm. And then for a moment here, before we sort of take it into anything else, I want you just to settle into this shape here and to approach it in that same way. Can you create some ease, some softness, some space here? And in that space, then perhaps you start to take that right elbow up toward the ceiling any amount more, kind of opening up that right side of the body. And with that elbow, can you take it up and then slightly back? You might even turn your head to look slightly toward the ceiling, but approaching this not through what is possible, what can I force my body into, but can I create space? Can I create softness? And then linger in and enjoy that space. If you're happy here, stay if you would like, with your next exhale. Let's just sort of roll forward. Let that right elbow and the right side of your chest come toward the floor. And then inhale, roll it back open. How about two more of those? Remember, you can stay still if you'd prefer. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, roll open. And one more time, roll it down. And open. And then we're all going to roll it down toward that right knee. Let the left hand release down to the ground. So you're sort of folded forward, but on the diagonal. So you're over that right knee. And that right hand will walk a little bit more sort of toward the front area here for you. And then take those hands any amount away from you that feels nice. But try to keep that left hip really rooted into the floor. And if as you breathe here and things start to soften and release, you feel inspired to go a little deeper, maybe take the hands further away or bow in a little bit more, allow that to happen. But again, not because you forced it to happen, not because there was some expectation that it should happen, but because the space is there to explore the pose in a deeper, different way. One more breath here. We're going to walk your hands back in and untwist your body so you're facing forward again. Just going to lean back on your hips, uncross and recross, and put the legs back down. And let's start again with those fingers out to the side, kind of a domed hand, equal weight each side, so not leaning yet. And then let's take your right ear toward your right shoulder. Let the head get really heavy. And as you do that, just kind of reach out through those left fingers a little bit more into the ground. And then let your chin come down toward your chest. And let's do that same thing, left ear toward left shoulder. And as you do that, reach out through those right fingertips just a little bit more. Chin back to chest. And head up on top of your spine. Left hand crawls out. Doesn't have to be a huge lane. Just take it a little further away. Right hand to the back of the head. Couple breaths here before you take it any deeper. Just find the shape and soften into it. And then if it starts to feel like a good idea in your body, you can start to bend that bottom elbow a little bit more. Maybe take your right elbow up toward the ceiling a little bit more. And you might lean that elbow back a tiny bit. Notice where your tendencies are to force and to push. Option to stay here, or as you exhale, kind of roll it down. And then inhale, Roll it open. 2 more. Roll it down and roll open. And 1 more. Roll down and open. And then this time we'll roll down, releasing that right hand to the floor. Again, you're sort of on a diagonal over that left knee. Walk your left hand forward a little bit. And then take those hands as far away from you as there's still a good amount of space. So kind of operating, I thought of it, I did this practice this morning. I thought of it sort of like operating maybe at 70 or 80% to start, maybe even 50% to start, and taking some breaths there to create space and then seeing where does your body want to go? Is it happy where it's at? Does it want to move deeper in some way? Does it need to back out? Let that right hip get a tiny bit heavier into the ground. And then walk your hands in toward that left knee. And bring yourself back to center nice and tall. And from here, we're coming up and over into table pose. So hands and knees, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. At any point today that we're doing something that just doesn't feel good in your body, give yourself full permission to skip or modify or change it up. You're also always welcome to kick your own butt more than I'm kicking it if you want more tonight. As you find your table, let's inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, lift the head, cow pose. And then tuck or round your spine, as you exhale and come into cat. Let's do 2 more there. Inhale, belly down, head and heart forward, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. One more, cow. And cat. And somewhere halfway between cow and cat is table pose, your neutral spine. So let the spine get long, tailbone lengthening back, crown of head lengthening forward. And let's start to scoot your right leg back to straight. We'll start with toes on the floor. Let's press back through that right heel. Feel yourself pushing the ground away. So instead of getting heavy, can you feel lifted? Option 1, stay here. Option 2, left arm forward. And then just a couple breaths. Let the things that are already getting tense soften. Allow yourself to create some space here for really steady, deep breath. A lot of space to be able to just feel and notice what's happening in the body. And then you can choose to stay here, or you can take that right leg and float it up off the floor. Your choice. Again, a breath or two to check in, to notice, create space. And then you might choose to stay still, or as you exhale, let's bring leg and or arm in toward belly, rounding the spine. And then inhale, get long, leg back, hand forward. We'll do that 2 more times. Bring it in. And get long. And bring it in. And get long. Last couple breaths. You can stay where you're at here, or maybe bend that back leg. Left hand reaches back, and I want you to try not to force this or fight for it. Just let the hand and the foot gradually come closer to each other. If they happen to find each other, great. Grab on, push the foot into the hand. If they don't, then just sort of reach the 2 limbs toward each other. Last breath wherever you're at. And then let the left hand go forward, right leg go back. Hand to the floor, shin to the floor. And let's take your big toes together, knees wide, hips toward heels. Couple breaths in child's pose. Forehead to the ground if that works. And if it doesn't, then stack your hands and support your head. Big full inhale, fill up. And as you exhale, release something, soften something, create space. No pressure, no forcing, no tension. Just ease. This pose is always here for you if you need it during class. When you're ready, we'll come back up to your table. Left leg goes back, toes on the ground to start if you'd like. Right hand can stay down or reach forward. And it's a powerful observation within your practice, especially if this is a newer practice for you. Something to start to pay attention to is sort of when we add so much depth or challenge in that the breath goes away. And can we make this not a moving practice, but a breathing practice where the breath is the priority? Maybe you stay with that left foot on the ground. Maybe the left leg floats. And again, check in. Do you need more? Do you need less? Can there be more space somewhere? Maybe with your exhale, knee and or elbow come in toward belly. Inhale, get long. Hand forward, leg back. 2 more. Bring it in. And get long. 1 more. Bring it in. And elongate. Staying here, last couple breaths, or bend that back knee. Right hand reaches back. The hand and the foot might just sort of long for one another. You might grab on if it's available. Just try to minimize the shenanigans to make that happen. Really soft, really easy. And then hand goes forward, leg goes back, and hand and shin come on down to the ground. One more time. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, cow pose. And exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, table. Let's set your hands for downward facing dog. So index fingers like railroad tracks. And then all the other fingers opened up from there. And we'll tuck your toes under, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. As you find your down dog, let's take a little wag of your tail. It can be a young, vibrant puppy that's locked in the kitchen because it can't sit still long enough. Jessica. Could be an old, slow tail wag. And then let's inhale, rise up onto your tippy toes, let the heels lift. Exhale, heels come down toward the ground. We're going to do that a couple times, and I want you to let your head hang as heavily as possible. Inhale, heels lift. Exhale, heels down. One more time, rise up. And heels lower. And then let's come on to the balls of the feet. Start to walk your feet forward toward your hands. Bend your knees as much as you need to, all the way forward. Keep it easy, keep it soft. And then once you're there, let's grab opposite arms. Keep the knees really bent and let the arms drape, the head drape, and let the spine be heavy. Little shift into your left foot, little shift into your right foot. Using this to break up tension as you need tension to be broken up. Maybe that's in that complete release of the neck. Maybe it's some tension along the spine that's being released by the side to side swaying here. And we're going to bend the knees more and roll up inch by inch by inch, all the way to standing. And as you come up, let's reach the hands toward the sky. Let the palms join together overhead and exhale, hands slowly down into your heart. Let's either take the arms to the sides or forward, whatever feels nice for your shoulders and the room that you're in. Inhale, hands go up. Palms will join together overhead. And as you exhale, let's keep the heart lifting toward the thumbs as those hands press down into the chest. One more time there. Slightly exaggerated. Inhale, reaching. Heart continues to lift up as those hands come down. And then we'll start to move. Inhale, let's take the hands skyward. And exhale, we'll fold. Fingers slide up the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Let the fingers come to the knees. And then exhale, we'll fold. Right foot stays. Left leg steps back. We're gonna let that back knee and back heel stay off the ground if that's comfortable in your body. And let's come on up into crescent lunge. Try to have your feet truly on like lines of railroad tracks. So you've got a good amount of space between your feet. It's less of a tightrope and more of a solid base. Hands to the sky if that's okay in your shoulders. And then we're going to inhale, straighten the front leg. And as you bend the front knee, we're going to bend your elbows out into a goalpost or a cactus shape. A couple times there. Inhale, straighten, reach up. Exhale, bend the knee, bend the elbows. Inhale, straighten, reach. Exhale, bend. Last one. Big reach up. And bend. Let your hands come down around your front foot, and we'll plant the hands flat and take yourself back to downward facing dog. It doesn't need to be graceful. Just find a way to make that work in your body. Once you're there, you're welcome to stay. You also have been in child's pose already. That's an option. If you want to keep moving, inhale, plank. Let's take our knees to the ground for this first round. Elbows point straight back as you lower to the belly. At the bottom there, untuck your toes. Pull the hands back. They're not going to move. Just pull back. Lift your heart up off the mat. Lift up through the crown of the head. And let's float your hands off the ground. If you have somebody next to you, maybe you high five them. If there's nobody there, maybe you high five your normal yoga and beer buddy. And then exhale, bring it back down. Press into hands and knees, come on up, table. And downward facing dog. If it feels nice in your body, let's take your left leg, lift it up and back. If it doesn't feel good, just keep the foot rooted. And then any way that works for you, no rush, no pressure, left foot between your hands. And we'll come up into that same crescent lunge. As you come up, we'll take hands to the sky. Inhale, straighten the front leg. And exhale, bend the front knee, bend the elbows. We've got 3 more there. Try not to rush through them. Just stay with the space of your breath. Inhaling to straighten, exhaling to bend. 2 more with your breath pace. The end of your next exhale, hands will come down around your front foot. Back foot steps to meet your front foot. Inhale, fingers slide up to the knees, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, let's rise up, reaching toward the ceiling. Again, feel the heart lift skyward, crown of head lift skyward. Keep that lift and length, palms come together, and bring hands down into your heart. Again, similar but different. Inhale, let's reach. And exhale, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, we'll fold. Left foot stays, right leg steps back. If it feels okay in your body tonight, we're going to drop that back heel to the ground. Let the toes angle out for warrior 1 legs. If that doesn't feel good, back heel can stay off the ground. And let's come on up into your lunge. Take a moment to get down to the feet here to really feel the power of your back leg. So that inner right thigh kind of leading the way back, spiraling back so you can root into that back heel really powerfully. And then we're going to keep the front knee bent and add that bend of the elbows, that same goalpost shape. Option 1, stay here. Feel that sort of lengthening out through the elbow tips. Option 2, keep that shape in the arms, tip the whole torso forward. So you're sort of on a diagonal here and the arms come with you. Keep broadening out through those elbow tips. Final option if you want it. As you exhale, we're going to rotate around our waist. Right elbow down, left elbow up. And then bring it back to where you started. 2 more. Exhale, rotate. Same rotation. Right elbow down, left elbow up. Back to neutral. Last one. And back. We'll take our hands back up to the sky, shoulders over hips, big reach up. Your front leg might straighten. And then hands come down around your front foot. Downward facing dog, any way that works for you. Remember, you have those options. Child's pose is great. Cat-cow is great. Here is good. If you want to keep moving, plank. Knees up or down, we'll lower to the belly, chaturanga. And at the bottom there, inhale, baby cobra. Or if the space is there and it feels nice, you might lift up a little bit higher, high cobra. We'll take it back down. Press up through table or plank, your choice. And downward facing dog. When you're ready, if it feels nice, right leg lifts. And foot between the hands. Remember, it doesn't need to be graceful. Back heel comes down if that works for you. We'll rise up into your lunge. So with the back heel down, it's called warrior 1. With back heel up, it's called crescent pose. And take a moment, a couple breaths here to get down into the feet, to really feel the lengthening down of both heels, both the inner and outer edge of both heels. And we'll bend that front knee, bend your elbows into that goalpost shape. Stay here if this is nice. So this is going to just really focus, allow you some space to focus on that space in the chest. Kind of a heaviness and dropping in at the base of the neck where the neck becomes the shoulders. Stay here or tip forward on that diagonal. Stay here or as you exhale, left elbow down, right elbow up. And inhale back to neutral. And just watch yourself as you do that 2 more times. So let the spine be what determines when you stop. Try not to then keep the arms twisting. They're just going to stay in line with your shoulders. Untwist. 1 more time. And untwist. Hands and shoulders go up. Exhale, hands around the front foot. And we'll step forward, feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let the corners of your mouth turn towards your cheeks so that as you bend the knees and come up to chair pose, even though I can't see you, you're smiling. Couple steady breaths here. And then let's press down into those heels, straighten your legs, rise up. And at the top there, we're going to press the palms together, bend your elbows, and drop your hands down behind the head and behind the neck. Do your best to keep those arms in pretty close to the ears. Really lengthen up through the elbow tips. Soften where you can. And then let's straighten the arms back up toward the ceiling. Soft bend to your knees. Let's fold. And again, grab opposite arms in some way. Forearms, elbows, whatever makes sense. Let the arms hang. Let the head hang. You totally could have legs straight here, but it's really not necessary. Maybe just try bending the knees. Give yourself some space and see what releases in the space. And then let your hands come on down to the floor. Right foot will stay. Left leg is stepping back. We'll come up with back heel off the ground into your lunge. And then we'll drop your back heel and we'll open your shoulders toward the long edge of your mat for warrior 2. Front knee, front toes are pointing straight forward. Back toes are slightly angled forward. And we're going to take reverse warrior here. So left hand down the back leg. We're going to mix it up tonight, though. Instead of reaching back, sort of like our seated side bend, I want you to bring your hand to the back of the head and really lengthen up through that right elbow tip. Deep breaths into that whole right side of your torso. So instead of it being a belly stretch, this is really meant to be a side body stretch. And then we're going to bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Left hand straight up toward the ceiling. And we're going to turn that palm to face behind you, bend the elbow, and bring that hand into the small of your back. Some of you might grab your right thigh. Some of you non-existent love handle. Some of you will just push the hand into the small of the back. And then choose if you want to look down, sideways, or up. Any of those are fair game. And instead of just cranking on that bind behind your back to open the shoulder, can you let the bind settle? Can you soften things around the shoulder joint so that over time that shoulder wants to open back? Those of you that came to get your butts kicked a little bit more tonight, everything stays, right arm reaches forward. 2 more breaths wherever you're at. Let's bring it back up, warrior 2. And as you come up to warrior 2, I want you to turn the palms up, create like a W shape in your elbows, and let that divot, that dip of your elbow, inspire the similar kind of softening and divot at the base of your neck. So that this section right here, instead of living in its tension place, is descending. And let's turn to look over your front hand. And then turn the head slowly to look over your back hand. And then we'll turn to look forward again, both hands down around your front foot. And let's step back, downward facing dog. So just like our other visits in down dog, you are fully allowed to stay here and be still. Again, sometimes less is more. Child's pose is another great option. If you want to keep moving, inhale plank. Exhale chaturanga. Inhale as high into your cobra as feels nice. Lots of space at the base of the neck. Lower it back down. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog. In your down dog, big inhale, fill up. Full exhale, release. Inhale, let's bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward. In your choice, you can walk, step, or hop. Top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, chair pose. And then slowly press into those heels, straighten the legs, rise up. And again at the top, we'll press the palms together overhead, bend your elbows, drop those hands down behind the neck. As you breathe here for a couple rounds of breath, do your best to soften the front ribs into the body. So instead of kind of coming into a huge back bend here, you're trying to maintain really neutral template to the body. Press up through the elbow tips just a little bit more. Feel that same divot at the base of the neck. And then let's take those hands down as you fold. Left foot stays, right leg steps back. We're going to come on up into your lunge. Maybe. Balance is hard sometimes. Drop your back heel. Open warrior 2. So shoulders again are facing the long edge of your mat. Your front knee, front foot is pointing forward. Back foot is slightly angled in. Let's take your right hand down the back leg. Left hand comes to the back of your head. Elbow tip presses up. I'm not sure if elbow tip is a proper anatomical reference, but you get the point. And then we'll slowly release that left forearm to the left thigh. Right hand to the sky. So once you're there, that right palm is going to turn backwards, but not just from the palm turning backward, that whole arm is going to rotate. Bend the elbow, bring the hand into the small of the back. And again, you might grab the thigh or the, whatever. Or you might just push it into the small of the back. Choose to look down, sideways or up, whatever feels most beneficial for your neck. And try to soften into it instead of forcing it. You can't force yourself to relax. You can't pressure that release to happen. Got to get out of your way. Create some space. See what happens. Stay here, or if you want more, left arm goes forward. Try not to let that add tension, though. Can you keep your space? Can you keep your breath? And then slowly bring it up, warrior two. Palms up, divot in the elbows, inspiring that same divot of release at the base of the neck. And turn your gaze to look backwards. Turn your gaze to look forwards. And hands come down around your front foot. Back we go, downward facing dog. You know the drill now. You have options here. Just stay with your breath. Find stillness in a pose that feels nice, or flow through what we call the vinyasa, that plank, chaturanga back bend. Wherever you're at, can you find space to explore as opposed to just pressure and force to do more and more and more? Any way that works for you in the next breath or so. We're going to make your way to the front of the mat. Again, it might be a walk, it might be a step, it might be a jump. All are fantastic. And then bend your knees a lot. Let's roll up inch by inch. You can kind of wiggle your way up if that feels nice. At the top there, big shrug of your shoulders. Again, corners of your mouth toward your cheeks. It's a sign that good things are coming. Second to last chair pose of your evening, sit on back. We're just going to bring hands to heart for right now. All right, weight is going into your right foot. I'm not going to turn to face you because we're going to take it into something. So weight into your right foot. Left leg is going to cross over your right. So those of you that balance is a little tricky, I want your toes to come down outside the right foot. It's just going to be like you're sitting in a chair in your legs. Dun-dun-dun. Option two, for those of you that balance, you want to challenge your balance a bit. Toes come off the ground, and I like to push my foot into the outer right calf to get a little bit of pressure there. Arms to the sky if this works for you. And we're going to slide those arms out into that goalpost shape. Lengthen out through the elbow tips. And then let's slowly uncross that left leg. Keep it lifted. And we're going to tip your chest and your goalpost arms forward as that left leg swings back. Warrior three. Now that foot could be barely off the ground. It's not better necessarily to have it higher. Get long from your back heel through the crown of the head. One more big full breath here. And then let's bend your front knee and step that back foot all the way back. Heel to the ground, warrior one. We've still got those goalpost arms. As you exhale, we're going to tip forward, press the forearms together. Put some imaginary resistance there, like you're at the gym doing a chest press. And then inhale, open. Exhale, lean and press. Inhale, stack the shoulders over the hips, open those arms. One more time. Lean, press. Inhale, lift, and open. And then we're going to take your hands to the ceiling. From deep in the shoulder, go ahead and turn your palms out so the hands are facing outward, like you're going to high five neighbors. We're going to crisscross your wrists and press the palms into each other. So alternative face you can see. So palms were out, crisscross, press the palms. Some of you, you're just going to press the palms and straighten the arms. Some of you will hold your hand, bend your elbows, and bring those hands any amount down behind the head. You're still facing forward. I just turned. I call these Bollywood arms. My Bollywood moves are not great, so I won't show them off. Breathe deeply around the shoulders, the front and the back of the heart. And then release your hands. And we're going to bring the hands all the way down around your front foot. We're going to try to straighten that front leg. So I'm going to recommend that you step that back foot in a little bit. If you have something that you could put hands on, like a hydro flask, that might be a good way to do it. A chair seat would work too. Yoga blocks. And we're just going to take a little fold over this front leg. Two more breaths here, inviting space. And then let's bend your front knee, look forward, sneak that back foot to meet the front foot. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Final, I think I promise, chair pose of your night. Hands to heart, just bring them in. Weight into that left foot. Right leg crosses over like you're sitting in a real chair. Toes can be on the ground for extra stability, or you can press that foot into the outer calf with the toes off the ground. Feel a heaviness of your hips here. And then if and when it makes sense, open your arms into that goalpost shape. Try to get out of the bunchiness of the neck and just feel that kind of divot at the base of the neck and that broadening out through the elbow tips. Right leg's going to uncross, and we're going to tip the body forward as the leg goes back into warrior three. And remember, it doesn't have to be super high. Those of you that want challenge, then you try to get the leg parallel to the ground. Last breath wherever you're at. We'll bend the front knee, take it back into your warrior one lunge. Elbows and arms still in that goalpost shape. And then give yourself some imaginary weight, some imaginary resistance. As you exhale, press the forearms together, tip forward. Inhale, open, restack your shoulders over your hips. You've just got two more there. Close and open. Close and open. Take your hands to the sky, and from deep in your shoulders, turn the palms to face out. Try to remember which hand went in front last time. If you can't remember, don't worry about it, but if you do the other one in front. Palms press and maybe the arms straighten, or clasp your opposite hand. Bend your elbows out to the side. Create space. Release your arms, let them come down around your front foot. Again, we're going to try to straighten that front leg. So step your back foot in until it feels doable. Add something under your hands if that's helpful. Try not to strain or force or pressure here. Just be soft and then see what happens when you create space. And we're going to bend the front knee, look forward, step that back foot forward. Bend the knees, roll up. And again, you might wiggle your way up, you might sway your way up, you might bounce your way up. Just anything to kind of get into that lateral side body a bit. And then if you have a strap-like object, go ahead and grab it. If you don't, but you have something close by, go find it. And then I'll give an option for you as well if you don't have anything that's going to operate like a strap. Okay. So I'm going to turn this way to start. We're going to face the long edge of our mat with the feet about as wide as, I think that the official traditional measurement is if you take your arms out, the feet are below your wrists, but it's not a perfect science. Just take a wide stance where you feel like you can root into the inner and outer edge of your feet. If you have that strap-like object, you're going to take it in your right hand above your head with the strap dangling down your spine. And you're going to bend the right elbow and take the hand down. Now, we've been here with other things tonight. So if you don't have the strap, you're just going to bend your right elbow, fist the hand, and bring that fist to the back of your neck or your head or your upper back, just depending on your shoulder. All right. Left arm's going to go out to the left, palm facing back. You're going to bend that elbow. And if you have the strap dangling down your spine, you're going to go hunting for that strap. And it doesn't matter how close the hands are. So it could be that they're fairly far apart. Those of you that the shoulders are fairly open, you might not need that strap. The hands might touch, or they might be pretty close together. Okay. I'm going to, for the sake of those of you who don't have straps, I'm going to show this option without the strap. So 2 fists, one hand on the back of the head or somewhere in that upper back zone, other fist in the low back. And then with or without the strap, we're going to take that wide-legged forward fold. Keep broadening out through your elbow tips. And if this is too much for you, then you either come back upright and don't do the forward fold and focus on the release of the shoulders, or if the forward fold would be more beneficial to you, then you come into the forward fold and forget about the arms. Create space and softness where you can. Press the head back into that right arm just a little bit more. And then slowly release the arms. Push the ground away, come up halfway, soft bend to your knees, and come all the way back up. Bring your strap with you if you're using it, because you've got another side to do. So I'll turn around to set up with you guys again. So this will be once you've collected your head and the blood has returned to its proper place. We'll take left arm to the sky. That one will hold the strap if you have the strap. Bend the elbow and bring the hand down anywhere behind head, neck, or upper back. If you're not using strap, then I just recommend that you fist the hand. Right arm will go out to the side, palm faces behind you. We're going to bend the elbow and bring that hand into the small of the back or anywhere in between. Broaden out through those elbow tips up and down. Strong legs. Remember, if this is what you need and it's too much with the forward fold, just stay upright and stay tall and do your best to not let those elbows round and forward. Broad and tall. If you want the forward fold, folding at the hips, up and over we go into that fold. Broadening and lengthening out through the elbow tips, diagonally away from one another. One more breath wherever you're at. If you're folded, release the arms. Push the ground away to tap into your core strength, your leg strength, and then really slow and easily bring yourself back up. Take a moment. Let the blood return. And we're going to turn and step to the front of the mat. And gently and easily make your way down to seated. As you come to seated, we're going to take the legs out in front of us. So what we did there, that arm shape, for those of you that was newer to, that's called gomukasana arms. It means basically cow face pose arms. So that was the top half of that pose. We're going to kind of do it deconstructed. We're going to do the bottom half of that pose now. Combined, it's a really beautiful release for shoulders and hips. But for a lot of people that are newer to the practice or just have tightness in their bodies, it's a lot altogether. So that was the shoulder part. This is going to be the leg part. So left leg stays straight. Right leg is going to come all the way over the left, where the pinky edge of the foot is on the floor, and your right knee is pointing toward your left foot. Okay, it might not look like mine. It might be higher. That's not wrong. Just let it be. Let that leg get really heavy on the support of the left leg. Those of you that are fairly open in the hips or want more, you'll take the wrap of the left leg as well. Knees will end up somewhere near stacked, and you'll be on the pinky edge of both feet. And ideally, you've got both of your sit bones on the ground. So if you come into the double version and you're kind of sideways, re-straighten that bottom leg and take the half bottom, half version. All right, let's come out with the hands domed beside you, fingertips on the ground. There's lots of options here, so if there's one that you know and love, feel free to take it. I'm going to guide us through this upright one. You're welcome to close your eyes here. And instead of trying to press the knees closer to the ground or really deepen into anything, can you just let things soften? Can you create space? Those of you that have created space and it feels like you want maybe just a little bit more, I'm going to take that right hand a couple inches further out to the right. Just like we started class, but the legs will be a little different. Left hand to the back of the head. Let that left hip get nice and heavy. Maybe reach up through that left elbow tip just a tiny bit more. Maybe lean that left elbow tip back a little bit more. And then very gently crawl that right hand back in. Release your left hand down to the ground. Lean back on your hands just enough that you can release those legs out in front of you. I like to give them a little flop side to side between sides. And we'll do that same exact thing on side too. So right leg stays straight, left knee bends, it crosses over that right leg. And instead of standing on the foot, that's a different pose. We come to the pinky edge of the foot. Left knee settles on the leg. Check in. This might be enough. If you want the double wrap, right leg comes into the cow face legs, gomukasana legs as well. Again, pinky edges are on the mat. Knees are relatively stacked. Hands come out to the sides if that works. And those hands are not really crutches. We're not leaning into them. They're actually, if anything, pushing the ground away. See how heavy the hips can get. You're definitely welcome to close your eyes here. And if in this settling and in this space creating, your body's like, I could take a little more. Left hand's just going to crawl itself out to the left, and right hand will come to the back of the head. Lengthening up through that right elbow tip any amount. Right hip tries to stay nice and heavy. And maybe that right elbow rolls back a little bit. Create space where you can. We'll crawl that left hand really gently and slowly back in toward the body. Release the right hand down as well. Lean back onto your hands. Release those legs out in front of you. And again, take that little flip flop, little swivel of the legs. And then let's bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. And let's hold on to the backs of the thighs as you lower yourself down onto your back. As you come down to your back, knees bent, feet on the ground, let your arms just release into the floor beside you. As you inhale, we're going to peel your spine off the ground from tailbone, inch by inch up the spine, lifting into a really easy, slow bridge pose. Just feel each vertebrae in its own turn, its own time lift. And then the same really gentle rhythm there from the top to the bottom, lowering your spine back down. How about two more like that? Can this be the most slow molasses lift and lower? One more if you haven't already. As the hips land this time, wiggle your feet just a tiny bit wider apart, and let's slowly take knees toward the right. Knees back up and slowly toward the left. And in that same molasses like movement, molasses like speed, keep those legs moving side to side. And your head can either roll with them or it can roll in opposition to them, or it could be still. Feel like you're lulling yourself into rest. Just really easy, unrushed, unforced movement. And then let's bring nose and knees to center. Gently and slowly bring those knees in toward the belly. Reach down, hug onto shins. You might even pull the nose toward the knees. And then we'll really gently and easily release the legs down to the floor. And release your arms down by your sides. Big inhale here, fill up. And let it go. Not forcing yourself into stillness or into silence, but focusing here on the pieces of you that feel spacious, that feel easy and at rest. Because we know that sensation feels good. So can you find it even in the smallest piece of yourself? And then let that sense of release and ease Gently ripple throughout your body, creating the space that allows for release and relaxation. Allow yourself to take rest. If this is the best thing that's happened to you all day and you need more time here, then I definitely encourage you and invite you to stay longer. If you are ready to head into your evening, let's start by creating some space for yourself here. Starting to deepen the breath for all that comes next, letting that breath settle into a rhythm that can guide you. And then as it makes sense and it feels right and you feel ready, start to add movement back into your body. Movement that easily and gently starts to grow bigger and brings you eventually to a side and eventually up to a comfortable seat. Take your time, no rush. And as you find that seat, let your palms come together in front of your heart. Just staying with yourself here for a few more moments. Feeling how you feel, observing how you feel in this moment. And carrying the effects and the benefits of this practice with you as a gift to yourself and all you connect with along the way. The light within me honors the light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing together tonight. I really enjoyed that one. I hope you did too. I hope it gave you what you needed. We're back again on Saturday at 10 a.m. for class, and Saturday is actually our 1000th yoga and beer class, which boggles my mind. And I would obviously much rather be doing that in person with you guys, but online is better than nothing. So we'll be celebrating Saturday morning at 10 a.m. 1000 yoga and beer classes, and just doing feel good movement as well. Shanti decided to make an appearance. Hi, I don't have anything for you. Last couple quick things. We are giving away a gift card tonight to Gigantic Brewing up in Portland. In order to be entered, just post your practice, home practice, your fur children, your plant children, your space, just even a picture of the screen or Shanti's adorable tail. And tag us on social media, and you'll be entered to win. We'll do that drawing tomorrow at 10 a.m. So gift card to Gigantic. And if you would like to stay and hang out for a little bit, we're going to head over to Zoom. I'll come post the link in the chat feature. We've got KPTV interviewed us this morning about our classes, which is really exciting. That'll be airing on Monday. And we're going to get a group shot of our post-class cheers in our Zoom here momentarily for them to air with that feature on Monday. So if you want to come be a part of that and show your love for yoga and beer in that way, we'd love to have you. So I'll come drop that link in the chat. And if I don't see you in Zoom, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you again very, very soon. You want to say hi, Shanti? Come here. Say hi. There's all the people. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Jean, so much. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Danny. Here comes that link for Zoom. It's also on our website. And I apologize for the mix-up on Monday. Zoom changed their protocols and put a password on it automatically, and we didn't know. So there it is for you. Nika, thank you so much. I'm glad that's what you needed. I hope you're doing well. All right, guys, I'm going to head over to Zoom. Mwah. Love you all. Have an amazing evening. Thank you, Britta. Thanks, Shannon. I'm glad you liked the playlist. Thank you, Julie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. Shanti is a Shiba Inu. So she's basically a small Akita. She's like 20. She's supposed to be like 20 pounds. She likes her food, so she's like 25. All right, guys. We'll see you over in Zoom. Mwah. Good night.